Bev, Lonely Planet are denying it, but do you think the writing's on the wall for hard copy guidebooks? Are they on the way out?
Not quite. I think there's huge changes, and it's not just here, but I think the head office in Nashville, they'll be making decisions. But I really can't see that the hard copy book going. No, some say it's, walking out the door. I just think it's kind of limping, and it's a lot thinner than it used to be. Things have changed, and I still believe people love their books. They're their old friends, they're travelling companions, and they're also for memories afterwards.
Of course, mine are full of notes.
A lot of changes.
I couldn't have that on my smartphone. I can't draw on that.
I know you can't. You can't tear pages out and lend them to people when you're travelling. That's what young people, do. They swap notes. But no, it's not going to be as it was. There's the main thing. There's going to be books, travel books that people will buy for reference or maybe to travel with, and that has to have accurate information. And with the advent of apps, they can be updated a lot quicker and a lot cheaper than a book can. With reprints and stuff, where the app you can just change it, get new prices, new deals, all that sort of thing. So I think there's going to be a lot of changes in people's travelling habits.
On Twitter today, travellers have been talking about the old Lonely Planet book, some saying, so many memories, I can't choose one. A large part of my young adulthood just died. Others say it ain't so. Have a full shelf, got one for every place I've been. Is this goodbye to Lonely Planet?
I don't believe so, but I think Lonely Planet is not going to be that big player anymore. Lonely Planet was the most extraordinary thing when it was started for travel books, before they'd been sort of funny old-fashioned books and very photos and fromers. The American guides were very much suited to the American market, like 1, 2, 3 of travel, how to do, what to look at, where to sit, and what to see. Whereas Lonely Planet had the readers. A lot of the Australian travel writers do a lot of contributing to those books from various countries, and it's their experience. They're checking up on local knowledge and times and accurate information, but it's about the experience too.
How did Lonely Planet do that, turn things around and break in that way?
Well, it started off with the Wheelers. Look, I haven't got the full story, but Tony and Maureen Wheeler, and they used to do the, I think it was London, overland tricks on the buses. The old cheap and cheerfuls of the 70s, which some of us have stories, but we will never tell anyone. We'll take them to the grave. And they started those books off because there's a lot of feedback from young travellers. And especially Australian travellers then, who had the time, maybe not so much money, but they had the time to travel. And they started writing about what they were doing. And then the Lonely Planets came in. It was extraordinary because Australians were really travelling a lot, young people. And it was kind of like a rite of passage. And the books just developed from there, and especially in all the countries it was in, it was extraordinary. Then the TV shows. So, it was quite a phenomenon.
Just from social media today and you and I chatting, there's obviously a lot of love for the paperback guides. Does that surprise you in this digital age?
No, it doesn't. It's I know with what I do with a magazine, I know people love the tactile experience. People like to take ownership of magazines or books that entertain or inform them. But the rest of all the stuff that surrounds it with social media and the digital age has got to follow it around. But people like them. They're old friends. And show me someone who doesn't like a book, and I'll show you someone who should get off this Lonely Planet.
On ABC Local Radio Queensland, Bev Malzard is the president of the Australian Society of Travel Writers and editor of Get Up and Go magazine. Bev, what about the emergence of these boutique, very high-end travel guides? Are they finding big audiences?
I don't think they're finding, the great crowds, but they're finding audiences. There's something a little bit special about them. They're prestigious, and it's got that exclusive kind of feel, having those special little books, and they may not cover everything, but you might be somebody who just wants to try the great resorts of Asia, and they'll take that book. It's a little bit of, it's a bit of a show-off thing. It's like fancy luggage, I think. And they're lovely. Nice writing in them, beautiful pictures, and that's also a thing, as well as information. People still like beautiful things, and books can provide that.
What do you rely on as references when you travel?
I do. Before I go somewhere, I still look at books. I've got quite a few old travel books, a little bit out of date now, but I might read something. Say I was going to Thailand, it might be an old book, but just to kind of get the feel for it again and wondering if places are still there. I download an app normally on my phone before I go to a new country. I download the local weather in that country onto my phone, and I just sort of have a look on the internet as I go along. But I also like to look at brochures to see what's happening. I just like to be informed, and I mean, some of it I like to wing it. I'm a bit of I was a hippie traveller, so I winged my way around the world a lot, and I still like to have a few adventures.
Would you encourage perhaps first-time travellers to do a little more homework rather than winging it? Or is that part of the adventure?
Yeah, I would actually. I sometimes see some quite young people travelling, and they're in fabulous new cities, and they've got their head down following an app, and it's basically like walk up this street, turn the corner. It's too kind of set. I would say do your homework, and especially young people travelling, because there are places fraught with danger. I was just reading about somewhere today where, all the risks of a certain holiday destination, of getting your food spiked, getting robbed, all the rest of it. And normally that's because half the people are drunk when they're travelling and they haven't got a clue what's going on. So I think you just need to learn to be a bit more street savvy and have some information about your location.
Well, you must get to some fascinating destinations in your job. What's coming up on the itinerary for you, Bev?
Well, my next 2 trips, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to Brunei.
Ooh.
Brunei is a tiny little country sitting between Sabah and Sarawak, on top of Kalimantan. So it's in the island of Borneo. It's a very oil-rich state, a sultanate. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to check out the Sultan's palace. Stay at a fancy hotel where there are gold taps, and go in a canoe up a river into the jungle.
Oh, it's a tough life. Someone's got to do it, Bev.
I'll tell you what, it's not easy.
Thanks so